We are going to make a mind map now, and this is the process that we use to make a mind map for coming up with ideas for art. For this project, we are making our artwork about things that are important to us. So, since that's what it's about, in the middle, I'm going to write important things. Okay. And you can put it in just a normal bubble. I like to put mine in like a little cloud bubble. It really doesn't matter. You get to pick. Now, off of that, I am going to need to list different things that are important to me. So some things that are important to me, these are like he described in the video, these are like chapters in a book. So things that are important to me, family, art is important to me. Let's see, education, and kindness. And if you have more, feel free to add another part, like maybe like weather or video games are important to you too. So I'll actually I'm gonna put weather. You know, maybe the weather really, really affects me, and it does. So now these are my little chapters in my book. I can always go back and add more if I want to. Now, off of each of these, I need to think about things that might branch off. So when I think of family, what do I think of? I think of my son Miles. I think of my husband, Mr. Stuckey. I think of my dogs. Maybe I also think of family dinners. So I think of dinner. So it can be anything you think about when you think of family. Now, off of that, I'm going to start branching out more. So when I think of my dogs, I think of dog treats. I think of running, because one of my dogs is a crazy runner. I think of trash, because one of my dogs really, really likes to eat any food that's left around and leave the wrapper everywhere. Off of dinner, ooh, I'm gonna think of pizza. I had pizza last night for dinner. Off of pizza, I think of work, because my first job was working at a pizza place. Maybe from work, I think of money. Okay. Also off of pizza, maybe I think of pineapple. I love pineapple on pizza. So I can keep branching off if I end up like, I can have one big long trail and then I can go back and add more things off of this. Or I can go to an entirely new branch or one of my chapters. So off of art, I think of painting. Off of painting, I think of brushes. Maybe off of painting, I think of messy. And off of messy, I think of cleaning. And off of cleaning, I think of soap and sponges. I can go back to art and maybe I think of clay and I think of pottery and I think of vases. When I go to education, I think of teaching. Off of teaching, I think of apples and I think of students. And off of students, I think of headphones, because I am nonstop being asked if I have headphones students can borrow, or if they can go to their locker to get headphones. Maybe also off of students, I think of locker. Off of education, I also think of homework. Off of homework, I think of math. I was taking my math classes. I hated the homework that I had to do. It was one of my least favorite things. I like math as a subject, just did not like the homework. What do I think of when I think of math? I think of symbols, right? Like plus, minus, times, divide. I also think of calculators. So now I would keep building this out. The goal is to fill the entire paper with writing about this size. I've had some students decide to go way, way smaller because they want to create this crazy math, but you really want some of these things on the way outside edge because that's where we're going to go and we're going to look and decide what do we actually want to do for our project? Or what do you want to draw? Or I mean, really in anything, what do you want to use to make art? Like what subject? You can use this for this project. You can also use it for other projects. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to underline all of the things that are items that would work for this project. So an apple is an item. Teaching is not an item. Students, not an item, but a locker is an item. Headphones, calculators. Symbols isn't really an item, so I'm not going to underline that one. You maybe could make it work. Homework is not an item. Off of homework, I could have done like paper, and that would be an item. I don't really want to pick people. Like, I don't want to, we have to paint whatever we decide. You could decide to put someone in here, but I would want to branch these out more. If like painting Miles, if I think that might be too difficult for me, maybe I branch things off of that to make it simpler. I have dog treats, trash, you could maybe do like a trash bag. So, you know, maybe I build off of that more into trash bag. Okay. Or maybe I'm thinking of empty boxes. Okay, so you can always go back and like break it down even more so that it's easier because empty boxes are an item. Trash bag is an item. Money could be an item. Pineapple, vases, sponges. I could do soap, paintbrushes, right? And you would hopefully have a lot more if you've built out the rest of your stuff enough. I had 2 chapters I didn't even touch here and I didn't finish really with family and I could have added more. Now from these underlined words, these end up being symbols for whatever their chapter is. So like a calculator might be a symbol for education, which is something important to me. Now, if I ever just drew an artwork with a calculator, nobody would probably guess that. And that's okay. Sometimes they're symbols, like very distant symbols, and that happens a lot in surrealist art. So for this assignment, this is kind of the point. If you're trying to, like, if you don't have an end goal for a project, sometimes this can give you some really interesting ideas. Like, I would never think just to draw like a trash bag or empty boxes, but those might be something fun to try to sketch in my sketchbook to try something new. So I have made my mind map. I have identified the things that are items. Then you can think about, okay, what items would I want to include in my surrealist artwork? So maybe I want to make an artwork with a pineapple in it and an empty box and a pair of headphones. So I'm just going to pick 3 of my items. It doesn't matter which ones. I don't need to know how these are all going to fit together, but I know that I want to use a pineapple, an empty box, and headphones. If there's more, if you're like, ooh, I really want that calculator in it, star the calculator too. Then this is what you would take a picture of and submit to me.